Boom, 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 boom.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Boom! And welcome to the Big Honker Podcast, brought to you by Dive Bomb Industries. I'm Jeff Stanfield with the world famous Andy Shaver.
Yes. Now, listen, a couple things. We've got amazing sponsors, okay? All from top to bottom. They're phenomenal. Dive Bomb, you know, they've been here with us since day one almost. Boss, same way. Every one of them is amazing. But Pacific Calls, there's a couple companies that have promo codes. Christmas is coming up. You can save a little bit of money. Pacific Calls is one of them. Hemp Hill Farm is one of them.
Stanfield Hunting Outfitters.
Stanfield Hunting Outfitters has a promo code.
No, we don't have a promo code.
Not a promo code, but I can't remember what it was. But anyway, BHP25 saves 25% at PacificCustomCalls.com, and BHP at Hemp Hill Farm will save, I think, 15%. So all of the sponsors are great. All of them would make great stocking stuffers, great presents under the Christmas tree. But if you're wanting to save some money, check out Pacific Calls and Hemp Hill Farm, because they do have promo codes for you to utilize. Use them. BHP25 and BHP.
Ours is going to be on January 15th, 16th, Monday, Tuesday. Holler at me. I got a 2-morning waterfowl hunt. Pretty good deal. It's 2 mornings hunt, lodging, and breakfast. We don't do meals the night before. It's just lodging and breakfast. 2 days is $500. January 15th and 16th, 2 morning hunts. Could be crane hunt, goose hunt, and duck hunts with lodging and meals. Need at least 5 guys to book that hunt.
All right, now that all that shit's out of the way, I got to put a Zen in. Zen. Boost my testosterone.
Oh, I have a funny story this morning.
Oh, you do?
Yes. One of my friends that's an outfitter. I'm friends with a lot of outfitters, but there's 2 guys I'm really good friends with. Their outfitters. One of them, and I'm not going to mention his name, is Justin Hill, so I'm not going to tell nobody his name.
Right. Definitely do not tell them that it's Justin Hill with Ranger Creek Goose.
Justin had to take a shit this morning on the side of the road.
Been there?
Many times. He told me he's an expert shitter.
Yeah, me
too.
too.
He said, I've spent so many days out of the field. He said, I'll shit outside 90% of my life probably, or in the last 10 years.
Right.
Anyways, he was squatting to shit. I guess it hit him pretty hard.
Yeah.
Accidentally shit all over his pants.
I've done that before.
He said, Jeff, I'm riding around scouting in my underwear. He said, thank God it didn't hit my underwear, or I'd have been naked riding around.
I shit on my bibs one time. It was one of the, I was a young lad. Didn't have a whole lot of experience shitting out in the woods. I guarantee I had to borrow toilet paper from somebody, and was wearing bibs that day, dropped them, and I just kind of took a normal shit, and then I'm walking back to the spread, and I'm like, I must have stepped in it or something. Like I must have missed and wobbled when I was wiping and stepped in it. And I'm looking at my feet. I don't see anything, which is muddy or dirty anyway. I'm like, fuck. And then I noticed when I would turn my head to the right, it would get more pronounced, more pungent. And then started doing a little bit of investigating, and there it was, a nice chip of shit right on my shoulder strap. So I take my bibs off. I mean, I used all of the toilet paper that I had, so I just kind of rub it around in the dirt, and
I'm like George Costanza.
You gotta. So listen, if you've never pooped in the woods, or if you've never pooped with bibs or waders on, you always got to pull the straps to the front. Hold on to those. Use them like a horse harness, and then that'll aid you in squatting.
Or get the crap strap.
Yeah, one of our good friends, Bob Legg, Shark Tank.
I'm a George Costanza guy.
gotta have your own throne.
I like to get down to nothing to take a poop.
I
don't like being bound up. But I had a client from Wisconsin one time said he pulled up to a buddy of his, and his buddy was a big bear hunter, right with dogs. They had these radio deals, and they'd stick them out, and they'd ride up and down the roads. And he says he sees his buddy coming to him, and his buddy pulls up to him, and his buddy's like, "Do you smell that?"
Damn, boy.
And he's like, "No, what is it?" He goes, I smell shit.
Yeah.
He goes, what? He goes, I smell shit. He goes, you don't smell that? He goes, something dead around here. He goes, no. And he said, I'm telling you. And he said, the guy turned to the right to say something and went, and he threw up and he had shit in his overall or coveralls and they were sitting on his shoulder.
Oh, man.
He was throwing up and walking out there and he's throwing his coveralls off.
Not good. It's an embarrassing moment. And I think
Everybody does it, though.
I think I was only 13 or 12 or 13 or 14 at the time. You know, when you're a kid, you don't know when you're going to shit. I mean, now I've got it timed out pretty well now, but, you know, they just kind of hit you when you're a kid and you just got to go.
How many days a week do you and Blake shit in the field, do you think?
We've been hunting pretty close to town, so we've been pretty fortunate.
You went home the other day and took a shit.
I've gone home 2 days in a row, yeah.
And Blake didn't know it.
Well, I did have to cut grass, and we're hunting 2 miles away from my house, so why would I not just drive in to the house and do it there? I mean,
I'm surprised as close as y'all have, and I haven't had Blake knock on my door.
one of them we had jambalaya the night before, so like that needed a toilet.
Well, that's some good That's some good eating too, boy.
So,
Good eating.
but yeah, just I got to cut grass real quick and run home, do what you got to do. The only thing that sucks about it is you don't have much time. Which, if you were pooping in the field, you wouldn't be able to do it anyway. But you don't have the TikTok time on the toilet because you're bound up for time. So, kind of got to drop and roll. But this year, I've not gone too much in the field. I've got a routine. I'm very, very routinized at this point.
Your whole life is that way, though.
Yep. Everything's down to a science.
So,
which I recommend.
I don't.
Why?
You're no fun. You're too scheduled.
No. This time of year, you have to be scheduled.
Well, I'm
You have
scheduled
to
this
be.
time of year.
You have to be disciplined. Because if not, it's chaos in the morning. I need everything do A, B, C, D, E, F, just like that.
It wore me out being out of pocket for a day and a half because not knowing what's going on.
Right.
That's my routine. My routine is not that, but I don't do the same thing. I do probably do pretty close to the same thing every day this time of year.
Everything.
I had something I was going to tell you. Oh, Blake texted me the other day, and we were hunting right south of town, and he's like, "Do you see those utility guys where they're at?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "I pooped over there by that telephone pole where they're working today."
Yeah.
He said, "Odds are someone's going to step in that."
Wow. Like, poor guys. But yeah, I mean, it. You gotta stay organized this time of year. Trailer goes back up the same way every single morning. I mean, everything is on a schedule.
Josh Moore used your trailer today. Do you think it comes back exactly the way it
fucking
was?
better. Why didn't they use their own? They ran one group today.
I have no idea. They just doubled up and hunted one group.
So now all my shit's gonna be wet.
Probably so.
What the fuck, guys?
You told him. He asked. I was there.
That was when we were gonna take 2 groups.
Oh, well, he just. I'm assuming they may not have taken your stuff. I don't know. They may not have taken your trailer.
When we were gonna run 2 groups, I was fine with somebody using my trailer because I was off this morning. But we ran one group.
Yes.
All the trailers are set up the same.
I think they ran a double spread, though.
How'd they hide today?
A-framed.
So now all of my shit's gonna be fucking soaked.
I don't know.
I'm gonna pause a minute. I'm gonna see if my
What are you going to do if they don't?
There's nothing I can do.
But-
I'm not sure they were smart enough. It's gone.
Now, in all fairness, they asked.
It's gone.
But I don't understand.
they asked.
We got 4 trailers. Why do they want to take yours?
There's a perfectly good second one down there.
But why do they want to take yours?
I don't know. All the fucking fully flock decoys are going to be wet. Oh, Lord have mercy on these kids. Because I will not.
Are you becoming the old man here now?
Well, just...
Are you?
Oh, yeah, I'm way the old man.
Yeah.
But I don't understand. We were going to run 2 groups. And they wanted to use my trailer. And I'm fine with them wanting to use my trailer. It's a nice trailer. It's swept out every single day. It's immaculate.
So now it's going to come back with dirt in it, all mud.
Oh, it's fucking mud. Everything's going to be wet.
It didn't rain that much.
It doesn't matter. It was still raining enough to get everything wet.
So what do you think they should do?
There's nothing they can do at this point. Take the other white trailer that's down there that they've been running.
Why don't they just take your blinds out and put them up in the processor and let them dry out? Oh, that's a good idea.
No.
Why?
Because we shove tumbleweeds back in there every single day.
Well, they can pull it out and put and let the blind dry so it don't mold.
It's just
I got news
there's
for
nothing
you.
you can do.
It ain't
now.
going to matter anyways because it's going to be raining the next Friday morning. It's supposed to be wet, and you're guiding Friday morning. Matter of fact, you were right.
Yeah.
I was wrong. When I told you
told
Friday,
you. Yes,
I
I
saw
told
2 to
you.
4 inches of rain on Friday, which means an inch, but still an inch of rain is miserable while you're hunting.
I told you that. I needed to hunt today and not hunt Friday.
That wasn't fair to them.
I'm not worried about fair to them. They got to fucking get my trailer all wet and muddy. So
You are becoming the old man here, I've noticed.
yeah, I don't have much in common with these kids.
The same about it I have in common with them.
Yeah,
And I'm going to tell you what, we got a great group of guys here.
Yeah.
The guides are great. We've had no problems at all.
None.
But I have noticed that you have a connect with Blake still.
Yep.
But below that, it's a big disconnect on a personal
right.
level of, it's kind of like me. I get along great with the guys, but I don't have a lot in common with them.
Right. I get along with them. It's just, they're in their early 20s and
35, you might as well be 100.
yeah, in this world for sure. But they're still worried about drinking beer and chasing girls, and that's fine. But I get full from drinking beer. I had half a Keystone Light on a scouting trip a couple nights ago, and I set that puppy down in the cup holder and didn't touch it again.
Oh, the people that are here from Wisconsin bring a case of spotted cow.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I do. I'll drink that every once in a while, but it's a one a night type of deal.
Well, let me tell you what happened. Them guys, oh, good, we'll take them to our room. I said, no.
The guy said that?
The guides. And Josh goes, well, she brung them for us. I said, no, she actually brung them because Andy likes that.
Right.
I said, put them in the pantry. We can't have one. I said, you can have one. But I said, y'all ain't taking that over to the guide house.
Just like the fucking dessert, the ice cream cones for my kids. They're not for my kids, but my kids don't get them.
How many ice cream cones have you bought?
None.
Well, how do they get here?
Mother.
Okay.
So, but the guides all eat them.
Well, Mom needs to buy extras. I don't mind the guides eating that. They don't.
I don't mind either. But it's just.
They're like Democrats. When
Well, what
somebody
ends
drops
up-
something off here, it's.
What ends up happening is there will be one left, and one of my kids will get it, and then the other one is pissed because that's the last one. And Mom's like, "Well, I just bought those yesterday. How's there only one left?"
Well, she should know. We got 10 guides working here.
It's okay.
The kitchen ladies eat as much stuff as the guides do, though, and that stuff.
Bunch of Democrats around here.
It looks like a Black Friday when there's a flat screen TV for $99. They fight over shit.
Anytime we get a sponsor out here that brings goodies, like Ducks Unlimited came, or Jimbo came out from Ducks Unlimited, brought everybody goodie bags. Vultures.
Did you get a goodie bag?
I did not. I got half a goodie bag.
I didn't
Well,
even-
a third of a goodie bag because it had really nice Ducks Unlimited socks in it. I was like, oh, I'm going to fucking rock these. I'm going to wear a suit one of these days. I'm going to have Ducks Unlimited socks on. It's going to bring the whole thing together. Well, I had to give the socks to you. Tony took a knife, which I've got plenty of knives. William's knife sent a bunch of knives first time we had them on. So knives aren't a problem. But yeah, didn't get it. Everybody else did. The kitchen ladies are going to be able to re-gift all of the Ducks Unlimited stuff for Christmas. There's nothing in there for a woman. A flashlight and an umbrella. But like, there's going to be a lot of kids around town that are going to have a Ducks Unlimited head bottle opener in their stocking this year, or Ducks Unlimited socks. So everybody's looking for a handout around.
But
here.
every time, like we got the guy Chuck sent us a bunch of shave stuff the other day.
Yep.
And it says for the guides.
Uh-huh.
I put it on the table in there.
Well, nobody shaves out here. Everybody's got a beard.
I told the guides, I said, listen, you get what you want out of here.
Right.
Because what you don't want, I'm going to let the ladies get. And I promise you, there won't be one freaking thing left as soon as I turn that shit loose.
No.
And I told the women, I said, listen, this is for the guides. That pile will be wiped out today by 9 o'clock.
100%.
Be wiped completely out.
100%. How do we watch the state game? Is it on Bally's again?
Yeah, I don't know if we'll be able to watch it.
Oh, really?
No, I probably won't. I hope Gordon wins for League and West. For
the
League
West
and,
boy?
I want to see League and get us another state championship. We got 2.
They got to play Westbrook, which beat us, not
No.
City in the playoffs?
We beat Westbrook. We got beat by Happy.
We never played Westbrook.
Westbrook
Okay.
beat Happy. We beat Westbrook during the regular season.
Right.
And then Benjamin is going to win their second state championship in a row, probably by 45 points at
They'll win
halftime.
another one next year, too. Hopefully, did Albany play Mart last year in the state title game?
Is that who they play again today?
Yes, tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah. Did you know that Mart and Chilton For y'all outside of Texas, high school football, most of you know in Texas is just huge.
Yeah, the state finals are played at Jerry World. I mean, that's how big of a deal it is. And shout out to Jerry Jones. I'm sure he's not, I'm sure he's making money off of it.
I think he donates the stadium for the state championship game. The playoff games he don't.
Right.
But I think he does for the state championship because they play the 6-man and one Class 2A game is tonight. Toller plays tonight. Keith Kunkel's kids go there or went there. And then Coach Steele's wife Stacy teaches there. Anyways, they play tonight, and then it's games on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Saturday I think there's 4 games.
Right. But
it's a big thing. There'll be a couple 100,000 people go through the doors over there over the 3 days to watch the football games. But anyways, Chilton and Mart played to see who played Albany, and one of the schools sent the other one a basketball in a box like the night before their game.
Ooh.
And I don't know if it was Chilton sent Mart or Mart sent Chilton.
Wow.
But and for the people that don't understand,
that's fun, though. I mean,
most small schools in Texas do not pick up a basketball for basketball season until
football's over.
I saw, and it's crazy too because district basketball in Texas won't start. Pre-district is playing now; they're playing games, but like the girls, they're already playing district basketball games,
right?
And we hadn't even played a state championship game in football yet,
right?
So, anyways, this accumulation of a good week. We got NFL on Saturday. Let's talk about one of the things that's I find very humorous right now is Patrick Mahomes being a bitch.
Yeah, okay. I understand the complaint a little bit, but it's black and white in my mind. He either did or he didn't. Now, because Dan Orlovsky has said that he watched every single snap the Chiefs played.
Okay.
Darius Toney lined up offside 4 different times. Not one time did the referee come up to him and say, "Hey, you're lining up offsides. I'm calling it next time." So, is it the ref's job to give him a warning?
No.
I don't know.
No, it's not. He's a fucking grown ass man that's making $1 million fucking dollars a year. I mean,
Who's played for 15 years? Probably. I don't know how old he is, but I'm assuming he started probably around 10.
This is his 3rd year in the NFL.
Right.
He's 25. Yeah,
he's been playing since he was 10. Probably playing the same position.
Let's just say 10 years.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. He's a professional football player. Okay. Do they go up to a lineman and say, "Hey, listen, if you hold again, we're going to call it this time"?
I'd have to ask James Washington. I don't know what the conversation is with the referees. I gotta assume that they're probably saying, "Hey, that's close. Tighten it up a little bit."
Here's the thing: did they throw the flag as soon as he did it, or did they wait till the end of the play? That would be the answer.
No, I'm sure they threw it right away.
Then boom, then it's not an issue. I would be really pissed if after the fact they threw the flag.
Yeah, that's not.
Throw the fucking flag as soon as it happens.
I agree.
So that's what wears me out. What gets me on these pass interference calls is these wide receivers will get up and start raising the hell and bitch, and then a flag comes flying out.
Right.
Throw the fucking flag as soon as it happens if it happened.
I agree with that.
But I don't. Kansas City, I was a big Chief fan, and I'm sick of the Chiefs because all the bandwagon. They've ruined it for me, and all this Taylor Swift shit. And I always liked Mahomes, and I really enjoyed Mahomes when I watched him on is it Quarterback that Netflix has?
Yeah.
But man, this whining and shit has ruined it for me with him, and just he has won more games because of they've gotten so many coachy calls.
There it is right there. As soon as the ball's thrown, I was a little late getting that up there. But Patrick Mahomes throws the ball, and then we get the thing on the bottom that says flag.
Okay, well then it was already done before all this ever happened. So it's just football.
Right.
But for them to go whine, and you know what? It wasn't the fucking end of the game. They still had a chance to go do something.
I agree.
They didn't do shit. And guess who threw a bad pass on 4th down? Patrick Mahomes did.
Right. Now, here's the interesting part. Kansas City won a Super Bowl on a let them play type of play, in my mind.
Yes.
Mahomes is saying, "Let us play the game." Well, if they have that mind, if the referees have that mindset in the Super Bowl last year,
Philadelphia wins.
Philadelphia wins the Super Bowl.
Yep.
So how far are you wanting to take that? Let us play the game.
Yeah.
Because that was a 50-50 call in my mind. I thought it was a cheap pass interference call in the Super Bowl.
But he didn't complain about it.
He was fine with that. Or, what if he gets hit a little late? Are we still saying let us play the game?
How about, was it the Jet game that they got gifted?
Yep. Another one. That's kind of one of those things that's like, is it or isn't it? Is this a moment where And I am all for the ref swallowing their whistle in a big moment. Keep the flags in your pocket. Keep your whistle out of your mouth. I'm for it. But when you've won a Super Bowl and you've already won a couple games from iffy calls, I don't know. I think. Like I said, how far are you wanting to take? Let us play the game.
It's
Mahomes.
Kind of like the catch with Des Bryant.
Sure.
That's a ticky-tacky deal. But the thing
Sure.
that everybody forgot about was the week before Detroit got fucked on a call, and they would have beat Dallas in the playoffs the game before.
Right.
They got screwed on a call. Another thing, too, is everybody forgets Aaron Rodgers had a minute and a half left.
Yep.
You know?
And he was peak Aaron Rodgers.
Yes, he would have won that game. I would have bet money on him doing it.
Right.
Mahomes and them is just, it's fine. There's things are catching up to them. They are very, very good on defense. They are very terrible on offense. They are not a good offensive team. They are doing the same thing to Patrick Mahomes that they did to Aaron Rodgers. They're not giving him any fucking help in the wide receiver department.
Yeah.
MVS sucks. He's terrible. That's why he wasn't a big star at Green Bay. He was a retread that Aaron Rodgers didn't want there. He wanted players. They didn't have them. You know, they passed up all them receivers. He's not any good. Kansas City's done the same thing. Kadarius Toney is a locker room thug. He's a piece of crap. He's the same way. They need to go get him a receiver. They traded off Tyreek Hill, and that's what they're missing this year. They can say what they want to. Last year they got by with it on a couple of breaks. They won a Super Bowl. They were still pretty good. They averaged 29 points a game last year. Right now they're averaging 19 points a game.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yep, they're averaging 19 points a game this year.
Yeah,
I mean, you look at their scores right at 20 every fucking game. 19, 20, 31, 21, 17, 9, 31, 19, 27. They scored 41 points against the Bears.
They got the Patriots coming up. That'll be a win.
That's an easy win.
Raiders will be a win. Bengals. I think they win out.
I don't know if they beat the Bengals and Raiders. The Chargers are screwed because their coach should be fired, and
he will be. He's gone.
And Herbert's terrible. I saw Belichick's getting fired. I saw that yesterday. That after this season's out, Belichick's done. He knows that.
The Panthers. I've already told you that.
I wouldn't hire him. Why would you hire him? He needs to go off. He's done.
He's better than You're telling me he's not one of the best 32 coaches in the world right now?
Do you want to be 32nd in the NFL, or do you want to be first?
You're the Panthers.
They was in a Super Bowl 10 years ago.
Get Belichick. That was a long time ago. That's 100 years in football years.
And that's Belichick's 100 years since he's been winning now. He's irrelevant now. He's done.
I don't know about that.
Him and Tom Brady made a great pair. There's no doubt about it. Tom Brady towed the line and did what he was told. Most superstar quarterbacks do not do that. Bill Belichick needs to retire to Martha's Vineyard, where he's got his house, and love life and enjoy it, or Nantucket, and just be himself. I think he's done with football. I think he's going to do just like Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson went to Miami, and he should have never done that.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that Bill Belichick's. I think his days are done. There is nothing in Carolina. That quarterback they drafted is terrible. That's a bust. Nice kid. I'm talking about just strictly from a business standpoint. Would you be excited if you had him as your starting quarterback?
Who?
The kid at
Bryce Young?
Yes.
No,
I wouldn't. Small.
But I mean,
okay. All the hype around all these freshmen, all these rookie quarterbacks last year, and the only one of them that's any good, C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, but I think everybody knew that though.
Well, but everybody was trading up to get these places.
Yeah, but I think everybody knew it was going to be a down year for quarterback. This is the year that you wanted to suck.
And like,
there's some good kids coming out.
Like, I don't think Will Levis is any good either.
Probably not.
I mean, and I think the only quarterback that's any good in this class is the Stroud kid.
I would agree.
And the Kenny Pickett, whoever it is at Pittsburgh, he's fucking get rid of his ass. He's terrible.
Yeah.
You just you draft. If you want to draft a quarterback with your first pick as a GM, go right ahead. But you trade a bunch of picks for somebody, because this year's class, it looks like it's going to be so good. There's going to be one guy out of it that's going to be any good. It's going to be Bo Nix. It's going to be Caleb Williams. It's going to be Michael Penix. I don't know. It's just going to be, or the kid at LSU. Only one of them will be worth the shit in the NFL.
This is the Dolphins are interesting to me because there's a lot of grumblings going on
about their coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
all
like,
kind of flash, and
Dan Campbell maybe.
Dan Campbell's on the
Dan Campbell's stupid coaching decisions last couple weeks.
Yeah, but he kind of always did that. It just never bit him in the butt. when he played the Chiefs opening night, there were he was aggressive, but it paid off. I think Goff has a hurt hand from what Yoder has said. Yoder is a Michigan boy, so I think when you go for these big moments and they don't pay off, well then yeah, everybody starts kind of looking at you.
Do you think
Dolphins have the Jets on Sunday? That'll be a win. They're playing in Miami. Then they got the Cowboys. That's probably a loss. Ravens. They're playing in Baltimore, and then they finish up with the Bills. So there's a possibility that they're 1-3 here.
Do you think?
And that's if the Jets have a really good defense. So
I wouldn't I would not be surprised right now for the Dolphins to go on a 5-game losing streak.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Jets got a great defense.
Yep.
And you never know which Zach Wilson's going to show up. The Cowboys right now, other than San Francisco, look like the best team in football. Mm-hmm. The Ravens look like the third best team in football right now.
Yep.
And the Bills are going to be playing. That game January 7th is going to have playoff implications one way or the other.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Yeah, they could drop 5 in a row. If they do that, what do you do with Mike McDaniels?
Fire his ass.
Think so?
Yep.
I heard something on TikTok, and I don't know if this is true or not.
No, I would not fire him. You can't fire a coach in just 2 years. He's made him relevant at least.
Right.
I'd give him one more year.
I heard something on TikTok, and I have not verified this because I was watching it late last night. Mike McDaniels he has 6 pairs of shoes. And he picks which he thinks will look best, which he thinks the luckiest. I heard that the equipment manager, now it doesn't make much sense seeing that it was played in Miami, but the equipment manager was not able to put in an extra pair of cleats for Tua. And Tua was slipping and sliding all over the turf that night. And they said it was because there wasn't enough room because Mike McDaniels had 6 pairs of shoes and Tua only had 1.
That's fucking stupid.
If that's true, that's dumb. But seeing that it's played in Miami, like, why couldn't the guy just run into the locker room? Because that's got to be where you have all your shit, right?
You'd think, they would have. You'd think that your quarterback would have more than 1 fucking pair of cleats. That's stupid.
But they weren't able to change out the spikes. I guess the field was a little wet. I didn't watch any of the game.
Was Tua playing defense that game?
No.
Well, then it shouldn't matter. They were up by 2 touchdowns with 3 minutes left.
I agree.
So that had nothing to do with Tua.
But like I said, that's one of those TikTok things. You see it late at night, and you're like, well, that's kind of shitty if it is true. But then, like, if it were played in Tennessee, that would make more sense because you can only take what you can take. But since you're playing at home, that doesn't make much sense to me.
Do you really have faith in Tua as a quarterback with 3 minutes left?
No,
I don't either.
Dolphins seem like one of those teams that has to be up by 2 or 3 touchdowns.
Well, they were the other night and lost. They are a first of the year football team every year. Last year, Miami was really good. This year, they're good early. Then later in the year, it falls apart. I'm telling you right now, the Bills are getting better. If the Bills make the playoffs, you better watch out in the AFC.
Yeah,
they're starting to play really good football, and that's it.
I'll try to verify it.
Didn't have extra cleats. That's just piss poor management.
I'm not seeing anything else, so I think that was just somebody trying to get clicks or something.
And I do not think Will Levis is that good either. So I'm just throwing that out there like it really matters anyways.
Right.
Christmas is right around the corner, like a week away. What was today? Today's the 13th, 14th?
12 days away.
So we got 12 days of Christmas. We had our last podcast was the lady that tries to help people, and I'm still tell you all the time, find you a working family that's struggling and help them out. Those people deserve a break.
You said you saw where people got presents and were returning them to Walmart.
Yes. What they're saying to do is to take the barcode and mark black through it, and that way they can't return them. If you're a parent and your kid gets something on an angel tree they ask for specifically, and you take and sell that, you are a piece of shit. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you right now, I have no use for your ass at all, and you're the same fucking person that's going around asking for help all the time. That's why I do not like that shit, and I feel sorry for those kids who are on those trees. But I would much rather find a parent that's working, that's not asking for help. They need help more than those people do. Yeah. I don't know if they need it more, but they appreciate it. I just can't imagine asking someone to help provide for my kids for Christmas and then me going and selling that shit.
I mean, takes all kinds.
That happened out here one time.
They took it back.
We had a year we helped a person, and I'll tell you how long ago it was. The kid wanted a VCR.
Right.
And so we bought a VCR for this kid. That's all he wanted for Christmas. And his freaking dad went and sold it.
Oof.
Took it back.
That's rough.
I was pissed when I found out about it. Pissed about it. My money.
Yeah.
So he could buy him some fucking beer. Oh, I was fucking hot.
Yeah, that's rough.
But the thing is it didn't piss me off as much as he took my money to buy him beer. It pissed me off that his kid went without because he was a sorry bastard and he wouldn't get a job to do it.
Yeah.
That's the kind of shit that bothers me.
But these people have kids, and they've always been last priority to them. That's why they're in the position that they are.
Yeah, and there's so many of them that do that shit.
I wish we could just do away with Christmas.
I wish we would. I wish Christmas would be what Christmas should be. Christmas should be about spending time with people you love. Not a long time because you get on everybody's nerves.
Yeah.
Spend some time with your loved ones. Have a couple days from work. Relax. Have a nice meal together. Exchange one gift that's not an expensive gift, but something that has some meaning, and be the end of it. Instead of turning it into this huge money fest for big corporations.
Yep.
You know this is a fact, but you know places like Hansborough and Mattel and toy companies, they work all year long for this 4 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
And then I feel so sorry for the kids who don't get shit, and then the other kids, the little rich little fucker that gets everything, that's a little punk. And Christmas is just a shitty deal for a lot of kids, and it shouldn't be. It should be the greatest thing there is. Well, I was going to have Tex on here, and we just ain't had time to do it. Why is Christmas in December when Jesus was born in July? Or do we even know when Jesus was born?
Well, so I actually know a little bit about this.
Well, you're a deacon at your church. That's why I asked you.
I'm not a deacon. But, so depends on kind of what school of thought you subscribe to. Back in the early days of Christianity, they needed people. And there were these pesky pagans that were running around. I think I've talked about this. But the pagans so leading up to Christmas, we lose sunlight until December. Whoa, you just lost a brand new iPhone.
Look at radar. Go ahead.
The pagans, they had basically it was like a sun celebration. So we lose sunlight until December 21st, and then there's about 3 days in there where days are the same, short, but right around December 25th, December 26th, days start getting longer. So that was when the pagans had their sun celebration. So the Christians, needing people, went to the pagans and said, "Hey, we also have a celebration around this time of year. That's when our what would you call Jesus in Christianity? Most important person, maybe?
MVP.
That was when he was born. So we celebrate. We have Christmas. That was his birthday. Come to us. We're basically the same." So they put Christmas in December.
When was he born?
So if I've got this right, there was a census going on, and that's why Mary and Joseph were headed back to
Bethlehem
or wherever they were from. And
no, that's where he was born.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's where they were headed back to. But anyway,
we'll call it Tel Aviv.
There was a census going on, and that happened in August, September. So
3 months before then or 4.
Could be. There's also people that think he was born in the summertime. But I mean, if you read it, all the animals were out of the stable, which is not what they would do in the wintertime. Animals would be in the stable.
But do they have winters there?
I think so.
Israel don't have much winter, I don't think. I mean, I don't know. I've never been there. But I think it's
could have been global warming back then, and the animals were all out.
How accurate, I wonder, is the story of them? Jesus born in a manger because they couldn't get a hotel room.
I don't know. I don't know. You just have to
have faith.
You just have to believe on what the Bible. Jesus, when Mary and Joseph.
But I've always, you hear the same thing the whole time about the three wise men. Who were the wise men?
I don't know.
Well, you're not much for a deacon. You sure don't have much information.
So yeah, it was Bethlehem. In Luke, Joseph and Mary's trip to Bethlehem is undertaken in order to satisfy an imperial command that all individuals return to their ancestral town, that all the world should be taxed. Since Mary was pregnant with Jesus, at the time the command was carried out, this explains why Jesus was born in the town of Bethlehem. So, let's look up, when was the census?
At that time, were the Romans in charge of everything?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I heard something interesting about Julius Caesar, who we call Julius Caesar. He took over, I think Gaul it was. Gaul had 3 million people. He killed 1 million people, enslaved another 1 million people, told the remaining 1 million people, congratulations, you're now a part of Rome. But they were just talking about how cruel he was. How cruel everybody was back in those days.
This isn't kind of in the same deal. I just read today that there's a new movie coming out, and it's in those times, and there's a lot of hell being raised because they cast Denzel Washington as
Julius Caesar.
I don't know if it was Julius Caesar. Was it Julius Caesar?
Yeah.
And they're saying it's not right because Julius Caesar was white. How do we know what color Julius Caesar was? Because the Muslims look pretty black. A lot of them do they not?
They're brown. Yeah.
I mean, so, and I have a real problem. It's funny because we talked about this at dinner last night. I have a real issue with them taking movies and changing the colors on them. Like, if I watch Harlem Nights or Coming to America, I do not want to see white people.
Right.
I want to see black people because it's about black people and it's funny. If I want to see Roots, I want to see black slaves. I don't want to see white slaves. Right. If I see the Seven Dwarfs, I don't want to see fucking regular sized people. I want to see dwarfs. Mm-hmm. I don't understand why. Like Steel Magnolias, they made a black version of it. Why?
Yeah, but you could do that with Steel Magnolias because it's just a bunch of hens around a.
After you've seen it before, it does not make a black.
I don't have a big problem with.
I just think it's stupid to change shit. When I see Tyler Perry stuff,
it's kind of like Barbershop.
I don't want to see
women.
I don't want to see Medea white though.
No,
it doesn't fit the characters. And so, if Steel Magnolias had never come out and been just a black movie, it would have been great. I just don't understand when we flip colors on anything. Sanford and Son would not be Sanford and Son if they were white. Archie Bunker would not have been good if he'd have been black. Mm-hmm. The Jeffersons. I just don't know why we have to change shit. The Julius Caesar deal don't bother me because I don't know what color Julius Caesar was.
Yeah, I remember seeing it. Well, I know Denzel is in, I think maybe Gladiator 2. I got to pee real quick. You read about this. I don't know. Or did I
didn't see nothing on the date, but it was the Romans that were in charge.
Okay.
One rumor is they lived in Galilee.
Galilee? Yeah.
And that's where Mary and Joseph were, in the city of Nazareth. And they were going to Bethlehem because the Romans had said they were going to tax you and you had to go to the land of your ancestors.
Right.
So that's why they were traveling before. Now, did Mary and Joseph get married?
I believe they were husband and wife, yes.
Okay, but she was a virgin. Good question.
Well, okay. I think they might have
married after she got pregnant?
Maybe. Well, you're asking me too many good questions here.
But anyways, so they were married, you're telling me, and I'm assuming unpregnant or unmarried pregnant women was kind of a faux pas back then.
Yeah, it's still kind of still should be a faux pas.
Well, it's not these days. It's pretty common. There's people who have 2-3 kids and they've never been married. And I do not get that. And I've got some good friends that do that. And I just do not understand the whole concept of staying together but never getting married. I guess it makes for a cheap breakup.
Yeah. Well, not really, but. Translation suggests that an unmarried Jewish couple was traveling a long distance unaccompanied by the father, and the woman still only pledged in marriage. State pregnancy.
Okay, this is another question. I wish Tex was here because I had a really good question here. Joseph and Mary were both Jews. And Jesus is the son of a Jew.
Jesus was Jewish.
Right. But he's a son of a Jewish lady. But the Muslims think that their Muhammad is the most important, when Jesus is pretty much well known that Jesus is the most important person ever to grace the earth.
Jews and Muslims don't believe that Jesus was anything more than like a prophet.
Jews don't either?
No.
What do they believe then? Just God?
Yeah, they believe Jesus was a false prophet. Or not a false, but just that he was not the Son of Man.
The Jews believe that?
Son of God, yeah.
So they don't believe in Jesus being any more than just a regular person?
No more than Mark, Peter, Paul.
Do they believe that so they think Joseph was really Jesus' dad?
I think they believe everything. They just do not believe that Jesus was the Son of God.
Then that's what I'm saying. They believe that Joseph is his dad.
They don't. Their book stops at the end of the Old Testament. Done. They don't believe.
They don't have a New Testament.
No. They believe that nothing, no prophets have been fulfilled for the Son of God.
So do they believe when you go to heaven, or when you die, you go to heaven or hell?
I believe there's a heaven and hell in the Jewish faith.
I'm really asking questions that's not fair to you since you're not Jewish.
I'm not Jewish at all. Yeah, but no, they don't believe in Jesus. I mean, they
believe in Jesus. They don't
believe
in
that,
Jesus.
That there could have been a man named Jesus walking around the desert, spreading the gospel.
Do you think?
But it stops at that.
Do you think that Jesus and God are both the same?
Well, you have to believe in the Trinity. So you've got God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit.
Do you believe they're all the same thing?
How do they put it? One is all or one, but not all or one. All or one, but not one is all.
Do you think?
I believe is how it goes.
When you get to the pearly gates, you sit before Jesus and God, or just one of them? Or do you think you even see them?
I don't know. Like, I think they'd be busy. Right?
Well, there's a whole lot.
Like maybe you'll see Jesus, but like I want to say God's like off doing other stuff. And then like the Holy Spirit. Well, like, have you ever seen the Holy Spirit? I don't know. And a lot of people believe that the Holy Spirit is just your conscience.
Boy, I've got one of those.
You know, like, is it the Holy Spirit, or do you just have a good heart? So, I mean, because I don't know. I'm kind of mixed on that because, like, if you think about it, like, there's a lot of people that are not Christians that are still good people.
I've got a friend of mine that doesn't believe in God, but he's a really good person. And like, instead of saying, I'll pray for you,
yeah,
he says,
I'll
keep you in my good thoughts.
I'll think about you.
And I'm thinking he's a really, really good guy, and it's not worth the debate over trying to save his soul.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he's a good person. And it kind of hurts my feelings always that he doesn't believe, because he's too good a person not to go to heaven.
Right. Mary was pledged to be married to him and was expecting a child. So
the Bible's a very interesting, but it's all on faith. And that's my problem I have so many times is I want to see some evidence of stuff. You know what I mean?
Well,
and that's my problem I have sometimes with religion, is that I can't completely get any evidence on it.
Can you get evidence on everything though?
No, not all of it, but just,
I mean, there's plenty of science that is not really, there's plenty of a lot of stuff that's not really backed on evidence. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. But take the human body. The human body is an amazing instrument.
Mm-hmm.
To build it the way they did, with the pressures in it, the plumbing system, the electrical system, everything that goes in your body is just an amazing thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to fathom that God did not create this. And so I believe in that just because of faith, and I believe in it. But there's some things in the Bible that I have a hard time getting a concept of. And I'll give you an example. Me and Reese were talking the other day, and we were talking about Noah's Ark.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him, we were talking about dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me, I said, how long do you think the dinosaurs have been around here? And he said, well, from back after when Jesus was here. I said, so you think there was dinosaurs when Jesus was here? Yeah. I go, and our conversation may be a little bit different, but this is kind of the route it was going. I said, well, why don't we have dinosaurs now? I said, well, what about Noah? He didn't take dinosaurs. I said, well, the Bible says
He took everything.
he took everything. So I said, the dinosaurs, I don't think, I told him, I said, Reese,
You're
I
arguing
think,
with a 9-year-old.
no, I wasn't arguing. We were just talking. He's a very smart kid, and I learned stuff from him sometime, and he's very active in church, and so we were talking, and I was like, well, I think, Reese, that the dinosaurs were here way before man was ever here. I think it was prehistoric, way before that. But we were talking about that. But I have a hard time believing the whole Noah's Ark deal.
Yeah. Well, and especially there's another. It's the Epic of Gilgamesh, I think, and it's just a retelling of Noah's Ark. I think there was a flood that happened.
I do too.
And I think
I don't buy into the Ark deal though.
Probably not. No.
I believe that there were some people on Ark, and that's how they saved their life. They floated.
Yeah.
I don't believe of all the animals were there. I think a lot of these animals came about after the flood.
Mm-hmm. Trying to find a month here. Still trying to find a month.
Because why did we lose prehistoric fish?
Why did we lose the woolly mammoth? It changes.
I understand, but the flood wouldn't have wiped out the fish.
It could have. It could have. I mean, it could have not been the right circumstances for whatever fish that is. Maybe they were cold water fish and the water got hot. I don't know.
Well, I understand, but there's just a lot of things in the Bible. It's got to be about faith. But sometimes I want to see some structure and some evidence on everything in life. As I get older, I get more, not senile. I get more, I don't even know the word I'm looking for. I don't believe as much.
Skeptical?
Skeptical, that's what I'm looking for. I get a lot more skeptical as I get older about certain things.
Yeah.
I believe. I know when I die that there's two choices. I'm either going to go to heaven or to hell. There's no doubt about that. Mm-hmm. I have, in my heart, I know that. And I'm pretty much a good person. I've done a lot of bad things in my life, probably like most people have, and things I'm embarrassed for. And I really hope Jesus and God are real busy and I don't have to go talk to them because I'm probably going to be really embarrassed. But some things I have a hard time believing in, and I'm just not sold on the Ark thing. I'm just looking at it from an analytical deal of putting two of every kind of animal on there and then having food for them.
Yeah.
Water wasn't an issue to water them, but to feed them it was. And then how are you going to separate the polar bear from? How are you going to put a polar bear in a fucking Ark?
Right.
Or
especially
a grizzly bear?
if there weren't, were all of the animals of the earth
in Israel,
right?
Because that's where they come up from.
There's a lot of stuff on different parts of the world that I'm not going to get here in West Texas. So if God tells me put two of everything on your boat, I'm going to be pretty limited here.
Yes, that's the reality of things, and that's the way I look at stuff sometimes. So I question a lot of things. Yeah. I also think God gave us a brain and a heart and wanted us to use it. Mm-hmm. Is it Jehovah's Witnesses that don't believe in surgeries? I'm pretty sure they don't believe in even things like an appendicitis. Mm-hmm. They don't believe in medicines and stuff like this. Well, God gives you a brain to figure that stuff out. He wants you to learn how to do it. And me and Mom were in Arlington one time, and they were having a national convention of the Jehovah's Witnesses at Jerry Jones's place.
Yeah.
There was 100,000 of them people running around. Someone told me that the Jehovah's Witnesses believe that the only 1,187 people go to heaven or something.
Right.
There's 100,000 people. Look around that room.
Mm-hmm.
What makes you think you're going to be one of the 1,187 people?
Yeah. So this says that basically the animals would not be out of the stables because there would be no pasture for them to graze on. There wouldn't be no grass for them to eat during the wintertime. So it doesn't have to do with them being cold or anything. I mean, and it says the temperatures in Bethlehem in December average around 44 degrees, but can drop well below freezing, especially at night, describing the weather there. December with 29 degrees.
So it gets colder in the winter.
Yeah, it gets cold there.
All right. But I want to go back to this deal. They didn't have they kept them in the cages,
What?
the animals on this ark.
Oh, Noah's Ark. Okay.
Yeah. Noah must have been a pretty good craftsman.
Yeah.
He built this ark that withstood hurricane force weather and stuff and this massive flood. But I have not ever been to a zoo that I would put a grizzly bear in a wooden cage.
Right.
But he's going to have a grizzly bear and a polar bear in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have faith, Jeff.
And that's the part I have a problem with. I believe in the Bible. I just don't. Some of the things about it, I don't believe. I don't have a problem with Moses parting the Red Sea.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't have an issue with.
I don't know.
But for a common man to put a polar bear in a wooden cage, a pair of them, yeah, I got a real issue with that.
Or did he get just the prehistoric polar bear, and then maybe when he let the bears go, they turned into polar bears? Possibly.
I don't know.
I don't know. I can't tell you. So here's another interesting thing is the calendars have changed since then. This is saying that April 27th, maybe? Is that what that means?
Yep.
Jesus born after sunset. March 20th. If you go by I don't know.
It's just a really interesting deal. The Bible this time of year makes me think so much about that stuff. We are obviously in a huge weather cycle in the last 20 years because my Facebook, I got hacked out of my first Facebook. So my Facebook I think I have 10 years of memories on. And I looked at the same thing. I look at my memories every day, and just because it's something interesting, sometimes I'll share them, sometimes I'll save a picture or something. But 10 years ago, my memories are like, God Almighty, Lord, can we just please have some cold weather and stuff? For the last 10 years, we've been going through this shit. Mm-hmm. And it's warmer than it ever has been, and it just keeps every winter. Every winter, we're going to have a cold, cold winter. I looked at right now, it's not even supposed to be below freezing, I don't think, in Minot, North Dakota in 10 days on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And we just don't have no weather now like we used to.
So this says we can confidently believe that Christ was born about 2 years before Herod the Great's death in the spring of 4 BC. So I don't know. But does it matter?
Does what matter?
When he was born?
No, it doesn't. We just should celebrate him. I just think that we've taken from a baby born in a manger that was born to forgive us for all of our sins so we can live have eternal life and to be forgiven for sins that we do. Some people don't believe that the only way you get forgiven for your sins is if you ask for forgiveness. Some people believe that you're automatically going to heaven because Jesus died for you already. I mean, there's all kinds of things there. To what we've come into, to who buys the biggest presents, is just absolutely ridiculous. And it's become more and more of that all the time. And, I don't know. I think we've turned our back on what the Bible is about. And as Christians, we should be embarrassed by that. And I can't. I hope our world gets better, but it seems like we just go further and further down a shitty hole all the time.
That's what humans do.
We've done a really good job of screwing up a pretty good place.
And
I don't even know when the best time to have been on this earth is. We probably are living the best times because of the modernization of a lot of things, but sometimes I think we're really not so good at it.
Yeah, you'd have been a goner.
What do you mean I've been goner?
You would have been a goner a couple nights ago with your blood pressure the way it was.
Well, they have blood pressure for a lot of times.
But modern medicine, you got... Well, even Reese. I mean, look at Reese. Reese had the croup attack when he was a young kid. And if we were just a farm family on the prairies 200 years ago, we would have lost Reese.
That's true. I mean, things are so much better medicine-wise. I just don't know if society, we have gotten so bad about what we've done. We accept too much shit that we shouldn't accept. All this transgender bullshit, we shouldn't be accepting this crap.
Yeah.
I mean, we're so it's crazy how the left has really pushed this. The left is their ideology is so fucking weird and all this shit they believe in, you know. And then on the right, you got the complete opposite. You got a bunch of guys that are representing us that don't represent us. They sell us out all the time, and we've let both sides just screw up our world. I think 1960 or 50 to 1960, probably in society, it was probably the best times ever. I really do. I think segregation or desegregation, I think it was a big mistake in the deal. I think you should let people live with people they want to live with.
Yeah, but
segregation
is also where.
Let me finish.
Okay.
I don't think that you should make someone not be included because of their skin color.
Right.
But I think it's wrong to bus kids from a poor black neighborhood and make them go to school with middle-class white kids. I don't think that's fair to either side. Those poor black kids don't want to be involved in that, and those white kids, they're happy in their world they're living. I don't think you should mix people from it. Now I think if a black family wants to move to that school and put their kid in that school, they should have every right. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not being racist. I'm just being. I think that's a recipe for disaster, and I think we are showing it in the bigger cities. You look at every city in America right now, and the worst places to be around are neighborhoods where they've put Section 8 apartments in to try to blend everybody in. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I was a poor kid. I grew up at a poor elementary, but you know what? Everybody else in my class was poor. So when Christmas got here and we got a pair of Sears Husky jeans and a Daisy Rider BB gun, everybody in the class got the same shit because that's what your parents could afford. If you'd have made me go to school with the country club kids, the rich kids, and they were getting brand new motorcycles and stuff like that, well, I didn't get that. I'd have felt left out.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's fair to take these kids and bus them to different places.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, but I think segregation had to do more with removing people being discriminated for their color, their skin, and allowing them to go everywhere.
And who got involved in that?
The government.
And what happens when the government gets involved?
It gets screwed up.
It's a total clusterfuck. You had small town America back then. You had a town of 3,000 people. I'm assuming that town had a white school and a black school. Wichita Falls, only place I ever grew up at, and it's all I got to go by. They had a school, Booker T. Washington. And it wasn't Booker T. Washington. Yeah, it was. They had a high school, Booker T. Washington. They closed it, and they shipped the kids to different schools. Well, the good football players went to one school. It's kind of the importance of things. The good athletes all went to one school. But they had just also built a what's the name of that school? Anyways, they had another school they just built brand new, and they made it a math science center. But they took all those black kids out of those neighborhoods, and they shipped them to all these white elementaries and stuff. That wasn't fair to those kids.
Right.
They had a school right there in their neighborhood, but they want to ship them across town because of a government. It's dumb. And those kids were uncomfortable there. And that's not fair to those kids.
But what about now? Now it's not a big thing at all. If they hadn't have done that, we'd still be living in a segregated society.
But what
so maybe it had to be uncomfortable for the first generation of kids in a desegregated school.
Well, another thing that Wichita Falls has done to kill the town, I think, or to really hurt the town is they went and decided, the federal government decided, you know what, we need to put Section 8 apartments all over the different sides of town. So then what'd you do? You increase the crime rate all over them towns.
Right.
You know? And it's that way all over America. You live in a neighborhood, you put a Section 8 apartment in there, and you kill that neighborhood. The crime rates go up, property values go down, the quality of education goes down. It's just it's a bullshit deal.
Yeah.
The government needs to stay out of some of that stuff. And I was one of the poor kids, I know. And luckily it was before all that shit. But I would not have been happy getting my ass busted another side of town.
Seeing all the privileged kids?
Yeah, I don't want to be around them little fuckers.
Yeah.
I had a lot more in common with a poor black kid than I did a rich white kid.
Right.
You know, we was in the same boat. We just different shades of pigment, but we're the same person. And, you know, I just don't like all that shit. The government needs to stay the hell out of people's personal lives and quit making them do stuff that they don't want to do. Because if you go to the ghetto in Chicago, those people don't want to get shipped up to go to the wealthy side. They're happy where they're at.
Right. This Denzel thing looks like it's just a Broadway thing.
Oh, I just saw a headline today. It was on Fox News. It's about the only news I'll read at all. I don't ever watch it. And they said that there was a bunch of people raising hell about that. What do you think? Let's don't go to that. Let's go to the Disney with their Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And they made the dwarves regular sized people. Don't you think that's bullshit to the poor dwarf actors?
Yeah.
You know, what chances? We'll call Billy Bart was an old famous dwarf. He was in some stuff a long time ago. How fair is it to a dwarf? He's not going to get a job as a regular tall guy.
I agree.
He's got to play a hobbit or something like that. Mm-hmm. So it's not fair.
Gladiator 2, Denzel Washington will be in it. Maybe that's what they were complaining about.
Who's he playing? It said that.
I don't know.
It was showing it, and you
Where?
Right, go wherever you're at. The sequel. Yeah, click on that deadline right there. That's from March 17th too. It's not even like his new news.
Oh,
he's a great actor.
Yeah.
One of the best actors ever.
Probably the best actor.
I don't know about that. He's really good. I don't know who's better than him, but there's a whole bunch of them. I'll tell you a guy that was a great freaking actor is Sandy off of, what was his name?
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh, he was a great actor.
He played, I watched a movie on one of our flights for when we were on the road with Boss, and it was Capote and true story.
Truman
Capote, and Philip Seymour Hoffman played him. But like I heard, watched that, heard the way he talked, and then I heard actual interviews with Truman Capote. He fucking nailed it.
Did you ever watch?
Nailed it.
Did you ever watch John Adams? He played John Adams. It was a mini series. It was only on a year or two, but he played John Adams. Man, he played a freaking. He's a great actor. He was a great actor, big time. Was Truman Capote just a gangster?
No, he's a gay guy. He's an author.
I didn't even know. I don't know. I just knew the name. So what is he? He was an author?
Yeah.
What did he write?
Breakfast at Tiffany's. And he wrote that In Cold Blood.
Breakfast at Tiffany's is a really good movie.
Never seen it.
It's a good movie.
People know.
I guess we're not going to get to hear him talk.
You've never seen Breakfast at Tiffany's? That's a great movie for an old movie.
No.
So he was a gay guy before being gay was socially accepted.
Yeah, so he was a gay guy, and he wrote Breakfast at Tiffany's, and then I think he had a deal with the New York Times, and so I believe it was in Kansas in the 60s. A family was murdered. Husband, wife, 2 kids, I believe. 2 or 3 kids. And he was just reading the paper and saw a little bitty snippet about this, and he told the New York Times, he said, hey, I want to go to Kansas. I want this to be my next article. And he gets out there, and he feels bad for the Mexican fella, and spends a lot of time out there. And then he ends up, he tells the New York Times, he said, this is not an article, this is a book, so I'm going to stay out here. And ended up, I think it was over the course of several years.
In Cold Blood, what Capote learned of the quadruple murder before the killers were captured, and he traveled to Kansas to write about the crime. He was accompanied by his childhood friend and fellow Arthur, and you're doing too damn fast.
Well, I was going to just get to the crime. These people, basically, it was going to be a home robbery, and then the farmer was like, I don't have any money here. Took the father and the son to the basement. And then the guy, there were 2 guys. In the movie, it's a Mexican guy and a white guy. I'm not sure if that's how it is in real life. Well, yeah, Perry Edwards, and then Dick Hitchcock. Dick says he's going to rape the mother and the daughter if the guy does not tell him where the safe is. The guy's like, there's no safe here, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, Perry, the Mexican guy, stops Dick from doing that. But then at the very end, they say that they're going to let him go. And Perry says, he tells the dad, we're going to let y'all go. We realize, you don't have anything here. And he said the way that the dad looked at him, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said the way that the dad looked at him, he realized that the guy looked at him as like he was somebody that could kill him. So he did. Killed him, killed the son, went upstairs, shot the mother and the daughter with a shotgun right there. Also murdered each by a single shotgun blast to the head. And they got away with a portable radio, a pair of binoculars, and less than $50 in cash.
That house is still there, and someone lives in that because I saw a show that I really enjoyed. It's called Aerial America on the Smithsonian. It's pretty interesting. It's all done with drones, and they show this house.
So, yeah, here's what he said. I didn't want to harm the man. I thought he was a very nice gentleman, soft-spoken. I thought so right up to the moment I cut his throat. Kenyon, Nancy, and then Mrs. Cutter were also murdered. So he slit the father's throat, and I guess he shot everybody else.
Well, back then, shit like that never happened.
It did right there. Well, I mean, what town is this in?
Outside of Garden City, Kansas, somewhere.
So, I mean, it was a very...
it's like happening in Knox City.
Yeah. January 17th, 1966. So, I mean, you can imagine how that would rock.
No. That it was in 1959.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that was when the book was published.
Yeah, 1959 is when the murder happened.
November 15th, so right before Thanksgiving. But you could imagine how that would rock a small town in Kansas.
Yes. Well,
or anywhere.
Especially during those times. It's kind of like the Helter Skelter deal with Charles Manson. If that happened today, it would be news because Sharon Tate was a famous actress.
Yeah.
So if Lady Gaga, but it wasn't. It caught the attention of the whole world because shit like that just did not happen.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody had 3 news sources then: ABC, NBC, and CBS.
Yeah.
And you got the AP wire and the radio, and that's it.
But so basically, what Capote found was that kind of these guys had gotten railroaded a little bit by the justice system, and he got them in touch with a lot of extra attorney. What's the word? Defense.
Your defense attorney.
So anyway, he kind of pissed because in the early stages of the movie, he befriended the town sheriff and
the
cops. Is it
a movie or a book?
It's. I've only seen the movie. I've not read the book.
Who's in the movie?
Philip Seymour Hoffman. He plays Capote.
No shit. I was thinking there was an older movie too.
No.
Okay.
But
there's not a movie about the murder. There's just a movie about Capote.
No, there's a movie about this murder and Capote's involvement in it.
But okay, so it's all right. I got you.
The
now.
movie is set from
Capote's eyes.
The murder's happening. Capote reading about it in the newspaper, and then Capote going out there and doing it. So yeah, it happened in 59. And when was the book published? 66. So
yes.
7 years. This is what Capote had to deal with. This is like he couldn't put an ending to the book until they reached a verdict because they had so many different trials. Because first it was just kind of a clear-cut deal, and then Capote finds mercy for Perry. And he says, we got to get you a retrial and all this other stuff. And
so did Capote think he was innocent?
Perry never would tell him until the very end what happened. And that's kind of what Capote finally was just like, listen, I need to know. And Perry would always, Perry was kind of smart, and they shared a love for literature, and Capote was sending him literature books, and he would send the other guy porn. So he always kind of had a connection with Perry. And then it wasn't until the very end that Perry actually told him what happened. But
so up until then, he thought Perry guy was kind of innocent.
So for 7 years in this book, and that's why he was telling Johnny Carson, he's like, I can't write another true crime novel because this one took 7 years of my life, and it really, really drained me because I got close to these guys, and then I had to watch them be hung to death. But there was a lot of talk that they were going to get off for temporary insanity. And,
yeah, they got that knocked out though there in Garden City.
The cops in that town were not happy with Capote. Like one of them even they met for breakfast, and he said, if they get off, I've got your address in New York. I will be visiting you.
So, what an interesting time. Johnny Carson. We need another Johnny Carson.
He was a piece of shit.
His show was excellent.
The show was excellent. He was a terrible human.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but we needed that. The country, it was good to everybody watched the Tonight Show. Everybody did, and it was interesting. But I a couple of years back, Sirius or whatever we have in the car, had Johnny Carson show on there, and so me and Mom, when we travel, we'd listen to it. It was like listening to a podcast. We listened to old stuff and talk about the movies coming out that had the actors. Just a different world then, because that was the only way that you got any kind of publicity.
Yeah.
So every new movie coming out, they would have the actors go out and talk about the movie. A new book would come out. A new song would come out. It was just, and everybody watched it.
Yeah. But it was a good book. It was a good movie. A little long. Probably could have been a little bit shorter, but. And then so his friend that he brought there wrote during the 7 years. She wrote To Kill a Mockingbird.
Great book.
And he was kind of. He was kind of at the lowest point of where he was in the writing of In Cold Blood, and she was like, "Yeah, he wasn't a very good friend to me," because she was celebrating To Kill a Mockingbird, and he was just basically a drunk off in the corner, not very happy with what she had going on.
Did you read To Kill a Mockingbird?
I think I had to in junior high.
It's a good book.
Definitely watched the movie.
It's a very, very good book.
But yeah, it was a good movie for an airplane ride. I'd been wanting to see it, and I got to see it.
I saw that on there one time. We start traveling again next month. I'll watch some more movies. I want to watch Napoleon really bad. Have you heard anybody that's seen it yet?
I hadn't heard anything about it. I want to watch Oppenheimer. There's a lot of movies
Oppenheimer I want to see too. I'm going to watch that during Christmas break.
I don't know where you're going to watch it at. I don't
Oppenheimer?
know if it's streaming yet. I don't know if you can get it yet.
I think Oppenheimer's streaming right now.
Maybe.
I'm sure it is.
Small Town America. I think there was another thing that was kind of like that. I don't know if it was here though, but I think the killers basically hid out in the attic until the family went to sleep.
I think that's in Iowa.
I think it is too.
I think that's where 7 people died.
Yeah.
You know how evil you have to be just randomly shoot a family?
Yeah.
I don't get it. I just do not understand having that much hatred. The thing is, a lot of these people don't even hate these people.
Right.
They don't even know them.
Yeah. I mean, these people didn't know those guys. They were I think they were in the local diner and heard somebody talking about how this wealthy farmer kept money in a safe at his house and decided to go knock it off before they went to Mexico to start over.
They had a murder like that in the Wichita Falls in the 50s or 60s. It was I'm probably going to screw this up, but it's the Benny Keith family from the Benny Keith Foods.
Oh, yeah.
They lived right west to east of town. Yeah, and they burned it down because they supposedly had a bunch of silver bars.
Right.
And they killed them both and set the house on fire.
Yeah.
And that house, the old gate's still there at that house.
Yeah. I remember driving by it.
Yep. And it's still there. What a sick, sick world we live in.
I hope I don't have to live through that in Knox City. It would be terrifying.
What?
Just like a senseless murder happen.
If we had a house in town and you had one person killed or you had 4 people killed, and it was just nobody knew
a
who
random
did it,
act of violence.
everybody be on fucking pins and needles. Remember when the old lady knocked on your door in the middle of the night?
I do.
Imagine if there was a killer running loose and that shit happened.
Not have been a good situation.
I saw a road rage video the other day where this guy jumped out of his car and acted all bad and broke this guy's window and he got capped right in the fucking chest.
It's a dangerous game to be playing. I've never gotten that fucking upset on the road. I've gotten plenty upset, but never one where I would want to physically assault somebody.
I had a guy want to do it to me one time.
I'm sure you drive like an asshole.
Well, he was not real happy with me. He was somewhere outside of Indianapolis. This guy come fucking flying up in a van, him and these other 3 guys, and they're fucking wanting me to pull over and shit. I got a fucking gun in there. And I told Michelle, I said, I don't know what the fuck these guys' problem is. She goes, don't pull over. I said, fucking don't worry. There's one of me and there's 3 of them. Ain't happening.
Definitely not going to.
But I said, I promise you, if I get out of this motherfucker, they bump into us. If I get out, it's going to be with a gun.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get out. You'd be stupid to not get out. Or you're stupid to get out.
Yes.
So in life, you got to get a point sometimes in life where you realize to suck up your pride and just go on down the road. It's not worth it.
That's right.
Your kids and grandkids' lives are worth more than some being a tough guy.
100%.
I think that's just an age factor more than anything else. All right. Well, everybody, we wish y'all a Merry Christmas. We know we'll have 3 podcasts out again next week. You're getting down to close crunch time. Try to find us people that need. If you've got the means to help a family, man, just $100 or $200 or $300 worth of freaking groceries, or buying them a gift for their kids will go a long way. Don't give them receipts.
Nope. Don't do that. All right, everybody. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. We'll talk to you next week. Go check out our sponsors. Go check out Mossberg, Alpha Outdoor Specialties, Hemp Hill Farm, Stanfield Outfitters, Double T British Kennels, Ducks Unlimited, Lucky Duck, Looking Glass Podcast, Shin Gear, Dirty Duck Coffee, Dive Bomb Industries, Pacific Calls, Boss Shot Shells, and MLR Graphics.